Today's question is the following. How do I obtain ownership of land held by deceased grandparents as the deed holder's grandson? My father put me in charge of handling affairs of 5 acres of land jointly held by his father and 2 other co-owners, who are all deceased including spouses. How do I go about obtaining sole ownership of this plot of land? My father is one of 3 children and they've all given consent to allow me to obtain ownership of the land. I live in Illinois and the land is located in Wisconsin. Okay, so the first question is, your grandfather and the 2 other co-owners, did they already have a probate on their estate? If their estate went through probate, then it's likely that their interest in the land was left to their heirs as named in their will. So you need to get a copy of the current deed and see whose names are still on there. If it's the 3 deceased co-owners still on the deed, then you need to find out which of them died last. Additionally, you need to determine if they were tenants in common or if they had joint tenants with rights of survivorship, meaning did the last one to die have total ownership or did they each hold a 1/3 interest in the land? So that's really going to depend on the deed and what it says on there. Assuming the deceased grandparents and siblings are still on the deed, you're likely going to have to open a probate for at least one of them to get the land transferred correctly to the next generation, and I'm assuming that might be your father and his siblings. Now, depending on the value of the land, if it's worth under $50,000, you may be able to use a transfer by affidavit process. If it's more than that, you might have to do a normal informal probate. Additionally, it's possible that you could use what we call a termination of decedent's interest form to terminate the names of the people who have already died. That's if the land was held as joint tenants and if someone's still alive. I recommend you sit down with a qualified real estate and probate attorney who can examine the deed. You can tell them who's still alive, who wants to get it, namely you, and about your father's siblings who've agreed to transfer it, and he or she can advise you as to the quickest and least expensive way to accomplish this. If it's held by your father and his siblings, they could possibly gift the land to you via quitclaim deed, but it all depends on if they already have ownership of the land. So great question. Again, very fact specific. I suggest you sit down with a real estate attorney licensed in Wisconsin who can help you with this. And good luck and thank you for a great question.